Heya, this is Sydney, and I am here to talk us through it for Monday, April 28th, 2025. It is the moon's day, and moon is in Taurus. So she's exalted, she's cozy, she is wanting a sense of stability and security. She wants to feel calm and cozy, right? Early in the morning, though, because we had the new moon before yesterday, right? And that new moon was spicy. So I think that today and a lot of the rest of the week is kind of going to be dealing with the aftermath of what that new moon brought. What is this new way that we're going forward now? And how have we been destabilized, certainly with that T square, to having to make some sort of change in our lives? 1:29 a.m. we have the moon semi-square Neptune in Aries, and then 9:12 a.m. the moon is going to semi-sextile Jupiter in Gemini. And I think this is new visions and goals are emerging here. They're not quite set up yet, but there's something bubbling kind of to the surface around what we are intuitively feeling, and our mood, and the ways that we can see ourselves moving forward with some new habits. 11:49 a.m. we have the moon quintile Mars, and I think that this really lovely aspect is going to give us the ability to kind of go forward with the things that we desire, and we feel pretty good about it, all things considered. Around 2 p.m. Venus is going to hit the very last degree while she is in Pisces. She's going to be anoretic at 29 degrees. And Venus in Pisces has been having a very long journey. She went retrograde back there, she went direct, and now she's at the very last degree. So she's really in this place of, I got to wrap this all up. Right? There can be a sense of catharsis or release here with this very, very last degree of the zodiac. So, some release around value, love, some sort of art, uh, things around relationships, certainly. And I think also because of that T square that was happening in the sky, this has to do with relationships. This has to do with how we're trying to go forward. Yeah. So if we're feeling like this like impulse to finish something, that is probably just the pregnancy of Venus being in the very last degree of a sign that she's very, very comfortable in. She's about to go into Aries, which she's not as comfortable in, but we'll get there. We'll talk about that later. Around 5 p.m., the moon is going to go out of bounds. And she's going to be out of bounds until Saturday morning. And so when the moon is out of bounds, it means that really just kind of extra emotional. We are extra moody, right? There's just a little bit more happening. It's like everything just kind of got turned up to the 11. The sound's real loud with how we're feeling. And with the moon in Taurus, we are probably looking for, we're really trying to self-soothe here, get really cozy, get really quiet, comfortable, find a sense of stability to all else, the cost of all else. 5:31 p.m., the moon conjunct Uranus in Taurus can bring an almost like an intuitive hit, right? When the moon is in contact with Uranus, Uranus is asking for the moon to liberate itself in some sort of way, to find some sort of new freedom, new way of being. There's an eccentricity here. So it's asking for the moon to be a little bit different, to feel a little bit different. And this could be, kind of the inspiration to make some sort of habit change that is going to be for our higher good. In the evening, we have a semi-square to Mercury in Aries. This could bring a little bit of conflict in our conversations. Maybe saying something that potentially could have us feeling a little bit foot and mouth, speaking a little bit too quickly, for not quite in alignment with how we are also feeling. And in the evening, we have a sextile from the moon to both Saturn in Pisces and Venus in Pisces at that last degree. So the moon and Venus and Saturn are wrapping some stuff up here. The sextile of Saturn happens first. So there's something around like kind of a little bit of emotional weight here, feeling a little bit more stable, being able to kind of see the vision of our dreams, our goals, and kind of place them into, okay, this is how I can go about creating my reality. And then we have that sextile to Venus in Pisces, which I think brings us sort of like understanding and also a coziness, could be, right? With Taurus and Pisces, they're the coziest of pairs. This is a really lovely aspect for like art and poetry and music. Um, I like this aspect. And it's a nice closing aspect for the day in terms of getting things done. At 11:35 p.m., the moon is going to enter Gemini. And we love that because now the mood will probably lighten a little bit. We get a little bit chattier. We're looking for a little bit more mental stimulation in order for us to kind of regulate our moods. Moon in Gemini is all about needing the information and the data. And also has a tendency to go a little bit more surface than deep, deep, deep. Typically tends to process the emotions through a psychological or thinking lens instead of through a feeling lens. The caution for a moon in Gemini is to try to feel the feeling and not to just intellectualize the feeling. But that's the last thing that the moon does that day. And so, all things considered, I think this day is going to feel pretty all right. We might have some releasing to do, but like pretty all right. We know what we need to do here. So, with that, that's Monday. And I hope you have a really good day. Take care.